So what do you think about the crowd today?
There's people.
Yeah.
I mean, there's people. They've been drinking.
They have. Always a good thing at a comedy
That usually
show.
goes good together.
It does, a comedy.
With this infinity wall set up behind us, we should dose them.
No, we should dose them. Yeah, no, that should be pretty cool.
Yeah, we'll put PCP in all their drinks.
Yeah, no, that's great. We should. Also, it's great that we're getting all that on video. So later, people will be like, "That's why I ate my child's face."
They're like, great show.
Great
10
show.
out of 10.
I loved it.
That
oh my
Yelp
God.
review.
No, I just
ate my children 2 stars.
Yeah. You're in for a treat. You hear him on Laff-A-Matic. You see him all over the East Coast of this great nation of ours. Ladies and gentlemen, the one and only Tommy Sinbazo.
Hey! Brian's hand is the wettest thing I've ever touched. It's just like someone handed you soap after they took a shower, and you're like, this is covered in pubes. Hi, guys. How you guys doing? Are there any couples here? A lot of good-looking people here. Any couples? 3 people? Okay, that's good. Everyone else, we're all swingers. They're going to ring a bell, and you got to swap partners. Now, but everyone here, at least you've been in a bad relationship before, right? Clap if you've ever been in a bad relationship. Right? I had this girl, our relationship was so bad, the girl gave me 2 books. And she was like, please read these books. It's going to save our relationship, right? She gave me 1001 Ways to Be Romantic and S&M 101. Yeah, how do you use those in tandem, right? There's no such thing as romantic masochist. No one's going to be driving home tonight and turn a smooth jam on the radio and hear like, yeah, girl. You know when you look up at me with those 2 black eyes and that ball gag in your mouth and you whisper, yeah. Safe words, orangutan. But nothing beats how my grandparents met. Now, my grandmother, matter of fact, this past year, my grandmother died at the age of 96 years old. That's fun. Why'd you woo? That's so weird, you grim reaper. She's like, woo, she deserved to die. Yeah, she cut me off in traffic once. Oh, good for her. But but like when she died, her doctors and everything, when she was 70, told her that she was going to die. And she believed him so much that she gave away all of her earthly possessions and told everybody exactly what the fuck she thought about him and then lived another 26 years. It was awkward as shit. It was the kind of awkward like when you say goodbye to someone and then find out you're both walking the same direction to your car for 26 years, right? Now, she met my grandfather back in 1920. Now, in 1920, my grandmother was a captain in the Salvation Army. That's back when it was actually a paramilitary Christian organization, not a dude in a smelly Santa suit ringing a bell in front of a Walmart, okay? And my grandfather drove a bus. And every day for 6 months, my grandmother would ride his bus. That's not a euphemism. Every day for 6 months, she would board the vehicle that he piloted. And every day for 6 months, he would ask her out to dinner. And every day for 6 months, she would tell him no. So he continued to sexually harass my grandmother until she finally gave in. And they went out to dinner. And he found her beautiful and intelligent. And she found him charming and hilarious. And they fell in love. And then he left his wife and children and moved in with my grandmother. It's a beautiful story. Now, what do you think the moral of that story is? Is that the heart wants what the heart wants, or that love knows no bounds? Because personally, I think it means my grandmother had some bomb-ass pussy. Hear me out. She had that home-wrecking hoo-hoo. That's what I'm trying to tell you. This was the 1920s. She probably invented the blowjob. She's probably like, I call this mouth sex. And then 2 months later, women were allowed to vote. True story. I'm not saying she had a hand in it. Probably just a pinky. Now, I want to ask, who in the room does recreational drugs? Who does professional drugs? What's the opposite end of that? They're all for recreation, unless you're a lab monkey. Now, my favorite one to do, I don't do the hardcore stuff. Like I mean, I know we're in Baltimore, but I've never done fentanyl. I hear it's to die for. But my favorite is mushrooms. Has anyone here ever done mushrooms? All right, 3 people. Great, that's great. For those who've never had mushrooms, sometimes it can be a spiritual experience, right? I remember one time I took mushrooms. I went camping. I was in a rut, didn't like the direction my life was going in. I took mushrooms. I sat down. I was staring at the campfire, and a half hour in, I saw a flaming skull raise up out of the flames, right? And it turned around. It had 2 blazing suns for eyes. And as it spoke to me, I heard its words reverberate through my entire body as it told me, "Marvel in what you can achieve." And then it fucking dipped back down and I got chills just talking about it, right? Because that's what you tell your grandkids, right? That's like, "Hey, Timmy, I know you didn't catch that pop fly at Little League today, but remember what the flaming skull told Grandpa. Marvel in what you can achieve. Now go wash those spiders off your face." And then there's the other times where you take mushrooms and you end up ripping your dick off and throwing it through an elementary school window. That actually happened. Not to me, though, ladies. Believe me, I pulled and pulled. It's not coming off. Leaks a little bit. Now, no, but police responded to an alarm going off at a school in Ohio. When they got there, they found a man who was tripping on mushrooms. He had ripped his own penis off and threw it through the window of the elementary school. Yeah. Can you imagine how awkward that guy's call to Lost and Found was the next day? Hello? Yeah. You guys didn't have to find a dick in your science lab, did you? How big? Well, what do you got? I want to tell you guys a story that happened to me about like one of those. Because my favorite thing to do, I like to take mushrooms and I go and see all the new Marvel movies and stuff. I go and see, it doesn't have to be Marvel, but it's mainly Marvel now. But the first movie was like 10, 15 years ago, the Tim Burton Alice in Wonderland, right? And since then, I have learned the perfect amount to do mushrooms and go out into public. It is 1 gram. You do 1 gram of shrooms and you are fine to be in public. Any more than that, you will lose your fucking mind, okay? I know this because I went to go see Star Trek Into Darkness on opening day at 10 o'clock in the morning on a 1/4 ounce of mushrooms. That's 7.5 grams of mushrooms. It is way too much shroom to do anything, right? And my fiance, I was all cocky. My fiance was like, "Do you want me to come with you?" And I was like, "No, dummy, Daddy's got this." Daddy did not have this, okay? Because I went in and I sat down and I took my mushrooms and people started coming in and more people started coming in and my anxiety started to build and it's building and it's building and then the movie starts and 10 minutes into this movie, Earth is being destroyed, okay? There are buildings falling over, crushing people. People are dying. People are screaming. All of a sudden, I can't stop thinking like, "Oh, man, my shirt's too tight. I need new shoes. I should get a haircut. My grandmother's still dead." I'm freaking out in this movie theater, right? And I stand up to leave, but it's opening day Star Trek. It's asshole to elbows Trekkies. There are men wearing capes and plastic ears in my aisle. And I was just like, "Well, I guess I'm going to be in space for a little bit." 10 more minutes goes by. I have now ripped off my 3D glasses and broke them into 100 pieces and threw them on the ground to try to keep the movie from getting into my head, right? Now, another 10 minutes goes by, and my brain, I'm freaking out. I'm already like, and my brain is like, all we need is some human contact. If we can just touch another human being, everything will be okay, right? And next to me, there was a random black guy that I didn't know this guy from Adam. And I saw his hand, and I reached down, and I grabbed his hand, and I intertwined my fingers with his, and I squeezed ever so gently. And this was all his reaction was. He was like, "Take your time, man, take your time." How is that this guy's pre-programmed response was, "Take your time, man. Take your time." What, did he get home from the movie and his wife was like, "Honey, how was the movie?" He's like, "Another honky held my hand today." And she's like, "Did you tell him to take his time?" So after 10 minutes, I kissed his hand, put it down because I'm a gentleman. And I was like, I gotta get out of here. But as all of us know, whenever you do one little misstep, when you're doing something you're not supposed to be doing, you think people are gonna be like, "That man's on drugs!" And then the police come and whisk you away, and you spend the rest of your life in a school basement taking a DARE class, sitting next to a box of discarded dicks. So I decided to come up with a lie. I was like, oh, I'll pretend I have to pee. So I stood up and I was like, ooh, so much soda. Why they give you so much soda? And I start making my way down the aisle, and my anxiety is building to a point where I'm gonna freak out because I'm like, excuse me, pardon me, just move your feet. Oh, just, what a lovely baby. Get the fuck out of my way. Now I'm in a full sprint out to the parking lot. I didn't stop until I hit a tree in the middle of the parking lot, and I pulled out my iPhone, and I was like, Suri, call my fiance. And Suri was like, handle your shit, bitch. My fiance pulls up 10 minutes later. By this point, I am covered in caterpillars, okay? No rhyme or reason for that. For all I know, they were just in the tree, and they're like, come on, guys, he's freaking out. Let's knit him a cocoon of comfort. It's gonna be okay. Go to your happy place. Right? So she puts down the window and she's like, looks like somebody could use a drink. And I'm like, get me out of here. Right? So we get in the car, go around the corner to the closest bar where she starts giving me shot after shot after shot after shot after shot after shot after shot. Now my mind is racing, but my body can only do this, right? So she's like, all right, well, let's go home. And I'm trying to tell her, hold on, I should really use the bathroom before we leave. I've drank a lot. But all that's coming out of my mouth is, pie. Pie. She's like, yeah, I like to party. And just shoves me into the car, right? Now the whole ride home, I'm telling her, and finally she's like, oh, you have to use the bathroom. I'm like, so she pulls into the parking lot of the Royal Farm, the convenience store Royal Farm, that is literally across the street from her house. These people already know my face and name because I'm in there all the time to get ices and fried chicken. So I go in, and as all of us know, whenever you're super drunk, you imagine in your mind you're the most sophisticated, gentle person that ever doth grace the surface of the planet. So in my mind, I walked in wearing like bing-a-ling-ling, wearing a top hat and tails and white gloves and a cane and a monocle, and I was like, excuse me, my dear lady. I appear to need to use the restroom in your fine establishment, right? What really happened was I shambled in like an extra from The Walking Dead, like pingling. Can you do me now? I'll pee in your party. And Miss Jackson, who knows my face and name, jokingly said, no. And that's when, much like Elsa, I let it go. I pissed my pants in this Royal Farm. And it wasn't like a little bit of, that I'll never see, Gene. It was a full-on, like, torrent. It was dark stain, river of piss, puddle of shame. And it was one of those deep ones where you get the chill down your spine, like you're a centaur drinking from a mountain glen, where I was just like... and she's like... So I told her, I was like, well then, my dear lady, it appeared that I have pee-peed on your floor. And Miss Jackson, I'll never forget what she said. She just looked and said, take your time, baby, take your time. All right, guys, thank you very much.
So how do you think that went?
My God, Brian, what have you done?
What do you mean? What have I done?
These people, they were just slack-jawed mutants.
All right, that's
They
a
were
little...
disgusting.
I mean, it was like... All right, disgust is a strong word.
No, I mean, this is Baltimore, and it's sort of like they dragged whatever floated in the harbor.
Yes.
And we're like, sit in these chairs.
How did we end up here?
I don't know. Bad choice. I did spit on that gypsy.